Okay, number 23. There is a range of beak depths in the population of a certain species of seed-eating bird. Scientists observed the feeding behavior of the seed-eating birds and recorded their observations in the table. So beak depth is just talking about like how wide they can open their mouth. Okay? Like how, yeah. So average beak depth in millimeters, you have 11.0, and the birds took 10 seconds to crack open large seeds. If their beak was not quite as, if so, let's say it was like this was 11, and then maybe the next bird's beak could only open this much instead, and it would be 10.5, and then the next bird could only eat maybe that, open it that much would be like 8. So this first bird could open it much wider, right? So it could crack those seeds more quickly. The bird with 10.5 beak depth took 15 seconds to crack open large seeds, so it could still crack them, but it took longer. And then the bird with an 8 millimeter beak depth was unable to open large seeds, and so it ate small seeds instead. So this bird could eat the large seeds easily. This bird could eat them, but it was a little more difficult. And then this bird could only eat small seeds, right? So which statement best predicts the change in subsequent populations of these seed-eating birds if the availability of small seeds decreases? Okay, so small seeds goes down. So what they're saying is kind of like we did that whole peppered moth study when the trees changed colors. Well, in this particular case, the small seeds were disappearing. There weren't as many of them. And so what that would mean is these small beaked birds would not be able to survive as well because they could not open the larger seed ones. So they wouldn't have as much to eat, and so they wouldn't live as long to reproduce. These other ones would have an advantage over it. So A says the bird with the large beak depth will require less food in order to survive and reproduce. That's not true. It's still going to need the same amount of food to live and reproduce. B says birds with a large beak depth will have an advantage over birds with a small beak depth and will be better able to survive and reproduce. So it's saying if the little seeds go away, then these birds would have an advantage over these birds. And that's true. That's what we find. So your answer choice there would be B.